Welcome to the CitrusTV studios for another web edition of Cuse Countdown, but we're going to change it up. We're talking lacrosse. I'm Michael Barth. This is Chris Thomsen, Nick Dugan, our beat reporters for lacrosse, so they know a lot more than me. But guys, going into this season, expectations a little lower for John Desko, coach Syracuse lacrosse team.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just because there's a lot of unknowns on this team. Last season, you knew the team. Kevin Rice, Dylan Donahue, Randy Stotts, you knew who was going to be out there. This team, a lot of unknowns, a lot of freshmen, and a lot of transfers, and we'll see what they can contribute.
I agree. Definitely a lot of unknowns, but if you talk to Coach John Desko himself, he wouldn't tell you that expectations are lower. He'd say, yeah, the media is saying expectations are lower, but he still has high expectations for his own squad.
Well, you guys said it, a lot of unknowns, but let's start with someone who is known on this Syracuse lacrosse team, and that's number 22, Jordan Evans. Big expectations for him this season, Chris.
Well, he is a big known, but he's known for not really a good way. He was very unimpressive in his first 2 years. But based on what you and I saw, Nick, in that first scrimmage, this is a different Jordan Evans. He had 12 points in all of 2015. He had 6 points in this one scrimmage. He's making moves that left the Bears dumbfounded, and he had 2 goals in the second half that were just absolutely spectacular. Had that backhanded goal. I didn't see that one coming either. Neither did the Brown defense. Obviously, Dylan Donahue's someone to look for, but Evans might be the main scoring threat for Syracuse.
Now we get to the newcomers, Nick Mariano. Nick Dugan, tell us about him.
Nick Mariano, a transfer from UMass. He's a junior. Second team All-CAA 2 times, both as a freshman and a sophomore. And in both of those seasons led UMass in points, 39 as a freshman, 42 as a sophomore. Played attack at UMass, as I mentioned, but this year John Desko moving him into a bit of a midfield role, something he hasn't played since being at Yorktown High School. He had 2 points against Brown on Saturday, and I think that they're really going to look to his dual threat at either the attack or midfield to be big for the Orange this season.
Nick Mellon, our next contestant here on Cuse Countdown, I suppose. He's out of West Genesee. That's where John Desko, Dylan Donahue, and Tim Barber all came from, so that's pretty good company. He's a relatively small 5'9", but Coach Desko has stressed that he's going with smaller defenders this season, like UNC's Joey Sankey, that can keep up with the quicker players on attack.
Yeah, and finally, Nick Paroli, another transfer, graduate transfer, fell out of the sky, says Coach Desko, for this SU team. He was born in Syracuse, played his high school ball a couple of hours north. He had 2 goals, 2 assists against his former team on Saturday. 23 goals, 7 assists last year with the Ivy League champs in Brown. He could take on a big distributor role this season, however, for the Orange.
All right, well, we just got to know a couple of the Syracuse Orange, but we'll see them on the field game 1, Saturday at 1 against Siena. Chris, give me your X factor for this game.
X factor is getting his first start as the full-time goalie in the net, Warren Hill. And the problem with Hill here is it is his first game. He had that year off after transfer. Well, not the year off, the adjustment year, I suppose, after coming from OCC. He had to readjust to the speed of the game, the skill of the players at the Division I level. Now he's expected to really fill this role that Bobby Wardwell left last year. Is he able to do it? Sure, this isn't UNC and one of those powerhouse teams, but Siena is still a test for the goalie.
Yeah, and my X factor is going to be controlling the face-off X. Ben Williams, back after missing some of the fall with an injury, didn't look particularly dominant last Saturday against Brown. However, Hunter Siena, only 4 of 11. That's Siena's best returning Fogo man. Only 4 of 11 from the X. Ben Williams has to take advantage of that mismatch, at least on paper, and get a little bit of a role heading into this 2016 season.
All right, Nick, sticking with you, does Syracuse get the win on Saturday against Siena?
I think Syracuse gets the win 19-10. Siena returns a good portion of their offense. However, I think that Syracuse is just going to be too much at home. I think they'll score a little bit more than SU fans might think. Like you said, Warren Hill adjusting maybe to his first real start as knowing that he's going to be the starting goalie. But SU gets it done on Saturday.
Yeah, if this was at Siena, those St. Bernards can get you there, but this is in the Carrier Dome, so it's a Syracuse victory, 17-8. They just have too many inexperienced guys on defense for Siena. Dylan Donahue, he kind of shook off the rust, I suppose, in the scrimmage. He's going to come out even stronger, and of course, Jordan Evans. This is going to be his coming out party. He is going to have a spectacular game on Saturday.
All right, well, there you have it, our 2 guys. Syracuse takes the win over Siena, gets the first win of the season. For Nick Dugan, Chris Thomsen, I'm Michael Barth. Thanks for watching.